Here at the Walnut Grove Plantation in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Look at all the grounds. As you see the sign, it says that the cemetery is to the left and the historic tour is to the right. Oh my goodness. Let's just take a look. This looks like it's an herb garden of some sort. But just imagine. This is like a walk through time. We're going to walk through. But let's just look and imagine what life must have been like. This says Rocky Spring Academy. To educate local children, the Moors and other nearby settler families associated with the Nazarene Presbyterian Church started Rocky Spring School. The school was built in 1770 and located approximately 1 mile from here. Once Nazarene Presbyterian Church was formally organized, the minister assigned to them would also handle teaching duties at Rocky Spring. Charles and Mary's 9th child, Andrew Barry Moore, was one of the students at Rocky Spring Academy. The structure was built for the Walnut Grove Plantation in the 1960s with 18th century logs. Let's go inside. It's locked. Nevertheless, let's keep going. That looks like it might have possibly been an outhouse. This sign says that this was the kitchen. Colonies built kitchens separate from their main house. Separate buildings allowed those in the main house to be spared the heat, smells, and smoke emanating from the kitchen. It also provided a measure of safety. If the kitchen caught fire, the main house would not also burn. Lastly, separate structures further separated servants and enslaved people from the social areas of the house. That's amazing. Just to see those words written. Separated servants and enslaved people. Let's go around this building. So if this was the kitchen, of course the door is probably locked. Let's see what we can see. So this looks like this was the porch of the kitchen. You walked up these steps. Whether you were a servant or an enslaved person. Oh my goodness. And all of this land. Where were you running to? Let's see what these are. That must have been some kind of pit, fire pit or something. Look at this. We don't even need to see what the inside looked like. Just imagine. This is where they drew water from the well and probably did the washing. What is this? This is the blacksmith. This is where they did their blacksmithing. The plantation blacksmith, often an enslaved African American male, made metal tools, horseshoes, wagon wheels, and whatever metal repairs were needed. Plantation blacksmiths were often required to be a jack of all trades. In larger cities, specialized tradesmen called ferries made horseshoes and wheelwrights made wagon wheels. However, on a backcountry plantation, such specialization was uncommon. So this was similar to what a blacksmith's quarters, work quarters, resembled. Let's keep moving. This was just a standard barn, as you can see. Just a standard barn, or so it says. According to the inventory of Charles Moore's property taken after his death, the livestock raised on the plantation included 4 horses, a stock of horned cattle, swine, and 7 sheep. Most of Charles Moore's land would have been used as grazing pasture for livestock, especially the cattle. At the time, ranchers typically used the free grazing method, in which cattle were branded and then allowed to roam freely until time for butchering or time to be sold. Some animals, like the horses and sheep, may have stayed in barns like this at night for protection from wild animals. The hayloft was used to store hay and fodder for the animals. Wow, all this land. It makes you wonder just how much our country has grown and just how much more work needs to be done. I read somewhere during one of my tours today, one people, not north, not south, not east, not west, but one people. This was the wheat house. Charles Moore, like other 18th century planters, stored corn and other grains in wheat houses. Today, it displays materials from the restoration of the Manor House as well as period tools. According to records, this structure was the property, became the property of SCHA when it was entrusted with the property. So this is a wheat house. Let's see what this one is. Smokehouse. Yes, the smokehouse. The smokehouse. Look at that. And who do you think the contents of the smokehouse really was for? It says the diet of 18th century colonists relied heavily on pork, and smoking was an excellent way to keep meat from spoiling. After the meat was butchered, it would be rubbed with salt and or herbs to dehydrate the meat, add flavor, and keep bugs away. The salted meat would then be hung in the smokehouse, where a small fire was kept burning until it was eaten. Some meats were smoked for several weeks. Hmm. So this was what an 18th century plantation looked like. Let's see this structure all the way over here before we walk back. Hmm. All this land. All this land. This is a replica of the doctor's, either the hospital or the doctor's quarters. Okay, this was the doctor's office. It says Dr. Moore was Charles and Mary Moore's ninth child and second son. He attended Dickinson College in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and graduated in 1795. According to family tradition, Andrew studied medicine under Benjamin Rush in Philadelphia before returning to Spartanburg in 1797. He lived in Spartanburg County until his death in 1848 and was one of Spartanburg's first, if not the first, college-educated doctors. Wow. To learn more about Dr. Andrew B. Moore. This plaque. I see a trail. The sign is pointing to a nature trail as well as a cemetery. And I'll just take the word of the sign. Let's go back. There's one more building still to see. And that's this main house or big house that's in the front. Okay, we're almost up at the big house. Whew. Let's see what it says. It says the Manor House. This Piedmont farmhouse began as a one-room log cabin built in the 1760s by Charles and Mary Moore. 3 generations of the Moore family would reside in the home until the 1880s. The Moores' wealth allowed the structure to be enlarged and modified to suit the needs of the family and the architectural tastes of the time. The house is currently furnished with locally made, period-appropriate antiques. The only items that survive from Charles Sr. and Mary Moore and still in the possession of their descendants. Okay. And this is just an inventory. The door is probably locked, so let's just peek through the window and see what we can see. Oh. A bed. Looks like a bed, a fireplace, and a bassinet of some sort of that time. And also, what's in here? That looks like part of the living room or something. A china cabinet or hutch, per se. A sofa. Let's see if we can get another look into the other room. Probably not, but that's okay. Depending on, oh, the window is too high. I'm going to put it up here and see what you all can see in the window. Okay, let's see what the other window produces. Well, that's all that we can see for now. A guided tour where we can actually go inside the main house and other places is not doable at this moment. But let's go back to the gift shop and see what information that the curator can share and enlighten with us. Oh, also, they do have a rental, and it looks like, I'll get clarity. I don't know if it is like campground rentals, for like day parties and cookouts, or if that's actual cabins that individuals can sleep in. But I'll be sure to ask, just in case someone would like to rent out the said space on these spacious grounds with all of the trees. And if you want to have a camp out.